The debate is about trade or not trade.
When we talked about it at the time, it was in regards to one of the rumors that was out there, a very strong one as well, in terms of trying to get Rutger McGroarty out of Winnipeg and coming to Montreal. And it seemed like the offer that Montreal had put in was to offer next year's first, which is the Calgary. They offered either Harris and Philip Mazar. You weren't in favor of it, but I thought, you know what? When you look at somebody like a Rutger McGroarty, I mean, you're picking up somebody that's 6'1", 200 pounds. I mean, of course, he hasn't been at the NHL level yet, but it's the kind of player, the prospect that you bring in at the right time, because at the age of 20, I believe he fits in perfectly with the group that we have established right now. He's the kind of rugged winger that, who, by the way, has also played some center, I believe, when he was with the U.S. National Development Team. You know, you want players that can, I believe, can play a combination of either center and wing, because if you got two centers on the same line at times, that's always a positive thing. Think of our national teams when we put together some of our best players. If you look at each line, there's at least two centermen on that team. Why? Well, because of the advantage that it gives you in terms of winning faceoffs at the right places, whether it's defensive or offensive zone on the right or on the left side. They're usually more responsible defensively as well. They have capability to see the ice very, very well. If you can pick up a player like that, I think it's a step in the right direction. And I think what they're trying to do this year is they're trying to solidify that second line. Like, they hopefully have that first line addressed. So that second line where if you could put, let's say, Kirby Dach with right now probably Joshua Roy, and you bring in a Rutger McGroarty, you're bringing in size. You're bringing in three guys that can score, they can pass, they can skate. And you look at Dach and McGroarty, and they can be used interchangeably, either on the wing or on the center. Is it a bit of a high price? Possibly. That's why you accumulate the assets you do along the way when you're rebuilding, so that comes a time like this, you can package that together and make this kind of a trade. So for me, I would do that if I were Hughes.
For me, I would say I disagree. Why? Montreal Canadiens, because I still believe they have other direction they need to do. First of all, for the upcoming year, they still have a ton of players of the final year contract. We talk about Savard, the defenseman. We talk about Armia, RHP, Devorak. This year, Mr. Enortap, is another year. They look like the player. Kirby Dach, new hook. Sakoski, another evaluation players to see what they look like. On defense, Mr. Enortap, we have a ton of defensemen to have to look. And then we have to look about other players are already in Laval, how they're going to develop. And 1 year, we're going to have a better overview of what it look like or asset. I think Montreal Canadiens will be more benefit to wait 1 year to go through what they have right now. My question, it would be for you, it would be if you bring that kind of players, Mr. Enortap, and it would be on the top 6, right? We have to add now Dimitrov on the top 6. And the way he deal with the Winnipeg Jets, I would prefer the Montreal Canadiens have a better asset with Kaden Coley and any other players, and to make a bigger trade, bring a bigger players to be sure is a top 6 in NHL. Said that, I don't know if we are going to have another Martin Necas next year in NHL. We have maybe a player not happy somewhere and you can play, he can score 25 goals, 30 goals. What we need is a next level. A player can score 30 goals, can play minute on the power play. He can play on the second line. If something happened to the first line, we patch up that guy up. Said that, I think Roger, he can bring a great role in the playoff time. I can understand that. When I see him, I see a Sam Bennett, in my opinion, style. A player can score point, a 50 goal, a 50 in NHL, but limited on the offensive side of his game. I want more. Montreal Canadiens, Mr. Enortap, select number 5 next year. We can get Michael Misa in the NHL draft. Now we talk about another top 6. We cannot put 20 forward, Mr. Enortap, on the top 6. We have only 6 spots. I would prefer Montreal Canadiens looking at trade like a 23, 24, 25 years old, RFA next year, and he produced already 25 goals and 26, 27 goals. That would be my assessment. That's the reason I disagree with you about that. I will not touch him, the Jet Winnipeg players. At least I need someone is show to me is a Craig McDavid example, Mr. Tap. He's going to be your top 6 players. He's going to bring sometimes the grits you don't have right now in your lineup. That means that kind of trait I was looking for. Until we don't know the value of who we have in our hands, I still have 1 more year to develop them, to see the improvement, or maybe regression, and then you can open up. During the time it's on top, you're going to know what Owen Beck is going to be. You're going to know exactly what Lane Arson, Ray Barker, Mayu, and Ekstrom. That will give you a bit more an idea that open up more the vision of what okay, now we can trade that player because we have a plan B, can pick up this guy with, and that will be my suggestion. Yes, people want to trade Mike Madison, Mr. Top, but he's not going to give you that kind of players. You need a young prospect in your organization. We'll talk about value a little bit later. But this is what I see that, and that's the reason I debate with you about that one. But, I'll give you another chance, Mr. Top. Respond to my my debate.
I see your point. If Demidov, for example, comes over this year, and again, players, I don't see a red flag with McGroarty at all. I think we got to be careful here that pigeoning a lot of these players into a certain way of acting when not necessarily is it them, it's probably their agents that are reacting that way. And it wasn't McGroarty that was saying he wants to be on the second line and he wants to be on the power play. It was really Martin Necas from Carolina that was making, and his agent was making those demands. In McGroarty's case, pretty much saw the writing on the wall in terms of Winnipeg. And he saw that, okay, nobody's leaving this team. I know Monahan and Toffoli are gone, but it looks like Perfetti has to be moved up at this point. He's earned that right to at least be a second line centerman or winger, depending on how they're going to use him. So where does that leave McGroarty, right? And it looks like Cheveldayoff is also the type of GM that doesn't like things dictated to him, which I can totally accept. And he wants them to stay in the minors 1 more year before the University of Michigan. I think he's with this. That's how they're coming to this point, and we're seeing this more and more, especially out of the USHL kind of players that are the NCAA players that are coming through the system as well. They want to burn that year of their contract so that they can start making the big bucks a little bit earlier than originally anticipated. But I don't see a problem with that. Like, as I was saying, if somebody like Demidov comes over this year, and let's suppose you have him either on the second line or you have him even on the first line, and you were to drop down, let's say, Caulfield on one wing, and you have Rutger McGroarty on the other wing, and Kirby Dach is centering them, are you kidding? You have a great second line there. I agree. He hasn't proven anything at the NHL level, but I think he's accomplished, pretty much what he can with the University of Michigan. So there's nothing left for him to
16
prove at
goals
that level.
and NCAA.
Yeah, but he has 52 points, coach.
Yeah, but he's a playmaker.
Games. Okay, that's good. And guess who needs to score?
Dach, Newhook, and him. Who scored 35 goals?
No, I didn't say Newhook. I said you drop down Cole Caulfield if Demidov comes up, and now all of a sudden you got who needs to score the most on this team. It's a pure goal scorer like Cole Caulfield. And so
but again,
why not
you're
have
willing
a
to give a chance. You don't know if he's going to be that kind of player. That's my point. I want to get him out in the chest where I know exactly what he looked like. He did it. He proved it.
I know, but the players that we talked about won't get that deal done. That's the thing.
For me, this is what I'm looking for. It's a top 6 in NHL between 22 years old to 26 years old, and he can stay on the top 6 center winger. And that would give me, if ever something happened with Kirby Dach, I have really a good player can pick it up there. This is the year Montreal Canadiens, if they want to do this, is only in 2025. Until then, I wait. And I select Mr. Enortap, Michael Misa, McQueen, Fondell for Sweden. This is why I wait. Yes. I'm on the patient card for 1 year. I'm going to go a little bit more deeper. That pick you're talking about from Montreal Canadiens in 2025, right? It's 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's protected.
No, for the Montreal Canadiens, I would take that one. I can add another prospect, Montreal Canadiens, high value, and I can get a big name in NHL. I don't have no name right now, but you can get a big trade.
Okay.
to get that kind of player. Now you get your top six over there, better at what you have right now with McGroarty.
Okay, I'm not opposed to that. If you can put together the right package and get that kind of player this year,
Montreal
yes,
Canadiens,
yes,
2025, 2026,
I totally
Enortap.
agree.
You have Sakaski, Caulfield, Suzuki, Kirby Dak, Demidov, and boom, that player I'm talking about. And then you have
Right.
the bottom
But
six. You can right now Owen Beck. You say Anderson, Gallagher. I understand that. But then you have the young kids coming now in the deal. This is what I'm thinking for the Montreal Canadiens.
Thank you to watching another Habs Nation video. But before we leave, we invite you, don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the channel, and finally let us a comment about this video. And remember, you have greatness inside of you, and we wishes you an amazing, great, and blessing day.